Oh, yeah. Here we go. Put your family first. Yeah. Yeah, we kicking it off today, Monday, right? We can put it up. I'm letting y'all know right now I'm giving away 2 books to kick this off. 2 children's books, Adventures of Oba and Luther. You'll have to come down and pick them up. He's going to post a number. You'll be able to call in, right? And we're giving away 2 children's books. And so as soon as we get going, that's the first thing. So he'll put the number up. The other part is welcome to today. Today is the first day. All 4 of us are in the building. We're excited. We don't see nobody yet, and
what do you mean?
Okay, it's a delay. So I just got to keep going. It's a delay. You know, I'm new to this whole game, so we're just gonna really kick it off that way, right? So we're giving away 2 Adventures of Oba children's books, and you have to come down to Podcastic to pick it up. I see. Oh yeah, crewed up, booed up, shoed up. We all in the building. And we're going to be talking credit with Crystal Gunn. We're going to throw some spiritual pieces in there as well in between. And I'm going to kick it off, and then we're going to flow right into call that number. Be the first 2 people to call that number. You can come down and pick up Adventures of Oba and Luther, 2 children's books for you. So I'm going to kick it off. Hello, Heather and Crystal.
Hello.
Good day, good people.
Brother Dave.
Hey, man.
So today is an interesting day. Of course, another incident, right, on the racial side, and then a whole bunch of incidents last night, right? We cannot stop the killing. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know who, but it is ridiculous the amount of murder that is taking place daily, right? So let's pray for each other, pray for these families, pray for our communities and loved ones. My message for the day that I'm going to kick this off with, and then we'll roll it over to Dave, then we're going to roll it to you, Heather, and then we're going to turn the whole floor over to Crystal. Right.
Roger
Right.
that.
We got to turn the whole floor over to Crystal. Crystal can't give her a half a floor. She need the whole
floor.
floor. Right. So my message really for today, I'm gonna go deep into the archives of Calvin Mann. Right, and this is one of my favorite scriptures. I even put this boy on the shirt. So I'm telling y'all, to let you know, we put this boy in the swag, right? And it's Proverbs. Let me get it to you. Okay, here we go. It's Proverbs 18 and 20, right? It says, "From the fruit of his mouth, a man's stomach is filled. With the harvest from his lips, he is satisfied." When we talk about talking positivity, love, peace, and hair grease and understanding, Proverbs 18 and 20 has become my favorite because everyone likes to chant, life and death is in the tongue. Life and death is in the tongue, right? They like the boogeyman. But God said before then, from the fruit of his mouth, a man's stomach is filled. With the harvest from his lips. So what it's saying is your words have power and can uplift and move and impact. And so that's my message. I'm pass over to you, Dave, real quick. What's your good message for today? Yeah.
Every day is a good message.
Yeah.
Every day. Well, again, I think you made a statement about how we going to stop the killing. I'm going to go with the scripture too. It's all about love. 1 Corinthians 13 say that love is patient and kind, not jealous or boastful, not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on his own way. It's not irritable or resentful. It rejoices in truth and not in evil doing. It's not self-seeking. Love always protect, always create hope, build trust, and preserve. Love never fails. If Stevie wanted to say love is in need of love, if we execute love, we can turn it all around.
Amen. All right. Sister Heather. Do your thing.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave and Calvin. Those are really words to really set the tone for today. My tone and my word for the day is the question: what is in your ecosystem of love? The ecosystem of love are all of the environments that you are in and where you give and receive love. So if the environments that you're in, you're not giving and receiving love, you are in the wrong ecosystem. That means it's not living. Love is not living. Love is not thriving in the way that it could and that we have the potential to do. So my question and my statement is, what is in your ecosystem of love? That would be in your family, in your household, on your job, in the place that you play, worship, or play. In any of those spaces, if the love is not being given and receiving, you may want to rethink your environment.
Amen.
All right. Beautiful.
Let's step to the side because Crystal's coming alive.
Right. You got the whole flow. So Crystal, give yours, and then let's get right into this credit conversation.
Absolutely. So, love was kind of the theme, and I truly believe improving our individual and collective black economic is love.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Quick and easy to the point. It is love. It's part of that love. You hear all these things about self-love, and taking care of yourself, and taking the day off work. But I also believe
So you might want to get closer to your microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that better?
Yes, that's much better.
Okay. Sit up is what you telling me.
Yeah, sit up.
Part of that
Cause it's all
Part of that
about
self-love
love, yeah.
is definitely making sure that you and in your family are financially stable, taken care of, and growing.
Awesome. So, Crystal, you hit me. I know this is on your heart, and you wanted to get into this credit, right? A couple of weeks ago, we had a young man from California on talking about real estate, and so today you're talking about credit.
Absolutely, because it's Money Smart Week too, so it's a good conversation to have during Money Smart Week
Awesome.
in April.
So let's
And
get to it.
okay, you want to start with a question, or you just want me to?
I want you to start out.
Okay, so well, let me start out with saying 50-50 accord. So let's take a step back to 50-50 accord and
Yep.
why I started
Sit
the
up.
50-50, why I started the 50-50 accord. Um, I feel like I'm yelling. Um, so why I started the 50-50 accord, right? And part of so the 50-50 accord is truly a love affair for Black economics, right?
Right.
And in that love affair, phase one is ensuring that at least 50% of what we spend with Black business. Okay.
Right.
That does not necessarily mean that, or does not only mean when we're going to restaurants, when we're going to, boutiques around our neighborhoods. It also means, though, that we're buying the everyday items in our household. So, light bulbs, trash cans, dishwashing liquid, laundry detergent, toilet paper, paper towels, that we're also doing those things and that other businesses are reaching out to other Black vendors and suppliers when supplying the needs for their own businesses. So, phase one, making sure that at least 50% of what you spend in the Black community, right? Phase two of that is getting your own house in order. And that means credit, investing, savings, estate planning, retirement, breaking generational curses, and
Hold on,
preparing for
Crystal.
generational
Hold on
wealth.
1 second, Crystal.
Okay.
Caller.
Hi. Hey
Hi.
y'all, this is Tracy Rick. How y'all doing today?
Well, what's going
T
on with you, Tracy?
Rex.
Nothing much. I got something I want to add to the conversation. I know y'all just got started, but
Oh, I thought you was calling in for the book.
no, I want to talk.
No one.
Okay. All right. Well, we gonna let Crystal. We gonna put you on hold. Let Crystal do her thing.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Crystal.
Tracy. Oh
Yes.
no, we can let Tracy talk. Because I'm gonna try to get in from my phone and I might have some better connection.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, cause you ain't got that MacBook over there. I take it.
I do, but it's.
There you go. You loud now.
Okay, hold on.
Right. Wi-Fi is kind of bad. So yes, since she's moving around, Tracy, what you trying to add to this conversation?
So
Is that better?
Yes, that's better.
I want to kind of piggyback off of what Krista said about financial literacy and credit being an aspect of love. So I grew up in, I'm Black. I grew up in a Black household, and Black people, particularly people in my parents' generation and my grandparents' generation, there were a lot of things, a lot of pieces that were left out of the puzzle about what living for Black people is. And I think one of the primary components to create financial literacy and credit literacy, it starts at home. But it's also not just about how to manage your finances and how to manage your credit. It's also about help, being helpful to the people in your family. For instance, if you have something that you know that somebody in your family can use, give it to them, especially if you know that they're struggling and they can't afford this particular thing. Your cup runs over and you can afford to give them this thing, give it to them. Because what you're saying to a person who's already in a situation where they can't afford something, where they're already struggling, you're saying to them, I'm going to help you struggle. Instead of, I'm going to help you get up. I'm going to help you get up off your knuckles. I'm going to help you get up off your feet. For instance, let's say that you are a homeowner or a property owner, and someone in your life who you know needs somewhere, and these properties are on the market to sell, but they're empty and they're not selling. You know someone who needs a place to stay and they need to get up on their money. Let them stay in your property until you sell your property so that they can stack their dollars. That's another way to promote financial literacy and credit literacy. Be a help when you can afford to be a help. It's not always about you getting a dollar or you getting something from something that you have. If you already have stuff, if you're not hurting and you can afford to give, particularly to somebody Black who you know is struggling, then do that. Be a giver. Now, the other piece is parents have to set their kids up at an early age for the understanding of, number one, that life is mathematics. Then the second piece is because 1 + 1 = 2. This plus that equals a thing. There is a natural law, and that natural law is mathematics. Financial literacy plays a part in that. And I think that if we start kids at an early age, like 5 years old, when they have an understanding of numbers, we have to start them there. And then increase the knowledge on how they work their credit, because I was at a deficit. By the time I went away to college, I was being pursued by credit card companies who just wanted to give me credit cards. But there was nobody in my family who said, don't take them. You're going to be in trouble because you need a job and you need to be able to pay this. There was nobody in my family who told me this. There was nobody in my family who prepared me for what was about to happen during my first year of college.
I think you hit it on the nail, and I know Crystal, you ready, Crystal, you jump back in, but I think you hit it on the nail. Not just financial. I think the key word is literacy. And in that area, I grew up opposite. I got aunties put you on a budget immediately, right? Teach you about a budget, show you how to handle that budget. My Aunt Inez, my Aunt Gussie, right? All of us, right? Uncle Don, right? Was teaching us all how to put on a budget. Go to the grocery store. You got this much money, right? All right, you going in the store. Same way I've been teaching my kids. Here go a certain amount of money. You go in the grocery shop. How much money you got? $40. All right, what can you do with $40 and make us healthy? Let me see what you come out of there with, right? And teaching them that whole literacy piece is important, and the value of that and understanding, even including the health, like you said. I'm 100% with you. My question would be, again, if Crystal, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. So my question would be, on top of that, what are the steps, right? Because we most definitely got to be moving. What are your steps to teaching the financial literacy to people? Because then, like Tracy was saying, and like me and Dave sitting here, we've been talking about real estate and I talked to a real estate guy today, but we've been talking. Yeah, you can put somebody in your home, but do they know how to keep it clean? Do they know how to respect the home? Do they know how? All of that plays a part in giving someone an opportunity. Are these people going to respect the opportunity? So that's another thing when it comes to family and us understanding that we have to have this understanding that you're going to appreciate this opportunity, because the mindset around family, which is why we do what we do, the mindset around family, like Tracy, what you're saying, is tough. It's very, very tough. I see stuff all the time of people talking negative. That's why we did the Put Your Family First video. It is just important that we start putting these tools and information and love and take that stuff away from each other in the family. So, Crystal, what are your steps? I know you was on 50-50 Accord and you back, so you can take it from there.
So yeah, let's go back to, because what Tracy said was really really important. But we got to understand we live in a capitalistic society, and if I teach you how to be financially responsible, right, then I don't get an opportunity to take advantage of you. Okay, so and it's not taught in schools for a reason. I mean, you start to see some schools are teaching it now, which is better. But also, and I've heard Dave say this many a times on different shows, we can't teach what we don't know.
Right.
And too many parents don't know. You can't teach your child how to be financially responsible if you're not financially responsible. You
That's right.
can't teach your child how to master the credit game if you don't know how to do it, right?
Right.
So you have to start with the individual, and then that individual can go out with the family. It should be a family affair. You should not. So most people know that I write mortgage loans, and I remember talking to a man over a year ago, and he needed to do some things to repair his credit. And I gave him the information to do those things. Well, he called me last month, and he had done the things that I told him to do, right? And now he was mortgageable. However, he didn't do those exact same things for his wife. So he had now decent credit, and she still had the bad credit that she had a year ago. So in essence, they still couldn't buy a house because we needed both. We needed the income from both of them, and we couldn't use her on the loan, right?
Right.
So we, as the collective, have to do that, but we have to start understanding the game and how to play the game. Tracy said when she went to college, no one told her, don't take those credit cards because you'll be in trouble, right?
Right.
Well, the messaging needs to be different. Take the credit cards, but let's show you how to use the credit cards, right?
Right.
Because credit is something that we absolutely have to have.
Mhm.
Most people say, I don't want credit cards because they associate having credit cards
With
with
that.
having credit card balances.
Mhm.
And that's not how you're supposed to use them, right? And so I
Mhm.
know too often I look at credit reports every single day, and too often in our community, when I see credit cards, revolving debt on credit reports, the balances are way too close to the limit. That means you wind up paying 2 and 3 times more for that shirt than it actually costs because you're paying that interest on that credit card. So I think that's one of that. So we got to go back and we have to understand. And there's all kind of tips and tricks. And when you start talking about credit repair and all of those type of things, but in reality, if you start with just the basics and you master the basics, then you'll be okay, right? And one of those steps in mastering the basics is understanding what is used to calculate your credit score, right? So 35% of your score is your payment history. Pay your bills on time all the time. If you get in the habit of paying your bills on time, you'll always pay your bills on time,
Right.
right?
Right.
So payment history. So you got to pay. So it's crazy to lose 50 points on your credit score because you missed a $27 credit card payment.
Mhm.
And it happens every single day. So one of the, Calvin, when you talked about, again, those tips and tricks, one of those things is if you know that you have that and you can't remember to make a payment,
Bingo.
set up an automatic payment so that you never miss that minimum payment, at least, right? You
Right.
definitely don't want to pay the minimum payment, but you definitely don't want to miss the minimum payment. You always want to pay more. So 35% is your payment history.
Crystal, let me
Yes,
interject for a minute. Now,
yes.
that is awesome, and I agree with you. But particularly in the Black community, we got these people with more debt than they got money. So they're making their payments late because they don't have the money. Like they robbing Peter to pay Paul. So what is the remedy for that so that they can have a positive payment history?
Something has to give, right? Something.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, most times they're not going to be able to figure out what that is by themselves. They
Right.
need that credit counselor. They need that financial planner, whatever that is, that's going to show them how to fix and repair and balance their money. Most people want to do better, but don't have the funds available to do better.
They don't have
Right?
the discipline.
No, and
That too.
it in some cases, but it's not always the discipline. It's I don't know what to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or especially with what has happened with this pandemic, they don't have enough money to do what they need to do. They don't have enough money to live. So if I have this credit card and I'm going and I'm buying food with this credit card, or I'm going and I'm buying sanitary supplies, then what do I do after that? Right? Now, did I get laid off? Did I work in the restaurant business and the restaurants were closed? So I didn't have any income coming in. But it's this crazy balance, right? And people wind up feeling hopeless and lost. In addition to that, we in our community have a problem sometimes asking for the necessary help that we need. I don't want people to know, like, what happens in this house stays in this house. So I don't want people to know that we're struggling, right? Well, somebody needs to
Mm-hmm.
know that you're struggling so they can show you how to help,
That's right.
Right.
right? So that they can show you how to fix the problem. So yeah, Tracy, literally those type of individuals that don't have enough help, they have to reach out. You have organizations like Wayne Metro and other housing counseling agencies that may have a lot of them have financial counselors, and that's their services are free, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if they have these financial counselors, they can go and those financial counselors can help them create a plan so that they can um, start to get on the right track and manage their money well, right? Or better, and start to dig themselves out of the hole,
Okay.
if that makes
Well,
sense.
thank y'all for letting me join the show for a spell.
Oh, not a
Awesome,
problem.
awesome work, you guys. I'm gonna hang up, but I'm gonna keep watching.
All right, Trace. Be good, sweetie.
All right. Peace.
Peace. So, with that, Crystal, in that process, so now I come in for credit counseling. Me and Dave, we come in, right? Me and Dave come in for credit counseling.
Right?
And we're sitting there, and we're here to be counseled at credit. But man, I got my stimulus check. I got that stimmy, right? I got that stimmy, and I don't see, because that was one of the things that I was proud of my daughter, and I talked about it, was she took it and paid it toward her situation, and didn't hesitate, right? Caught up, the whole nine. But I get my stimulus check, and right, as soon as you get that free cash, right, seem like every commercial is just for your wallet.
For
Right?
sure.
Yeah, here come the commercial. Yeah, you 2 chicken sandwiches for $5. Right, right.
If I work in the marketing company department at a company, my number one job is to get your money out of
That's right.
your
That's
pocket,
right.
Yes.
That's right.
spending it on what we sell.
One of the things I want to inject real quick from Crystal and Tracy.
She's gone.
Yeah, but they said something significant. But here's the thing: you have to change the mindset. See, you can go into credit counseling, but if you don't have ears to hear and a willingness to do, you miss the mark anyway. You just walk right back up the same way you came in. So we have to change the mindset. They did a movie called The Purge, and the last version of it. And in the process, they gave each person $5,000 if they hang around. Well, next thing you know, you saw all the minorities in the street partying. They took their money to party. The mindset. See, instead of doing something to get out, they stayed in and party. So we have to change the mindset of people. I used to teach financial peace by David Ramsey in the military. I had to change the mindset. The way you thought how things work had to be changed. So this is what Crystal was talking about, getting a different mindset in order for us to be able to take care of our financial needs. And unfortunately, what we find with our people, African American people, and a lot of minorities, we have such a narrow mindset, a debt mentality, that we lose sight of handling our business. And so when people come along like these shows that we're doing, trying to teach this, you still got these walls. We got to get these strongholds taken down to change the thought process in order for people to be able to really transition into the knowledge that they're going to need. He say, my people destroy because of lack of knowledge. Right. See, so we got to make sure you change the way you think. As Zig Ziglar would say, get rid of your stinking thinking. Because if we can move this stinking thinking out the way, we can bring some clear air in.
Right. And so, and that's all of those points. Excellent. Right. But let's tiptoe on the financial literacy over to the fact that now, again, I got my stimulus check, right? And I got 2 tickets. I was targeted, right? I got 2 tickets. Then, man, I gotta go for child support. Then I gotta go, man, I'm hungry, right? There's a lot of incidents in these areas, right, that impacts the financial literacy and the mindset of the financial literacy, right? We talked about this before, Crystal and Heather, right? Like I say this all the time, so I don't have no problem with it. But in the community, the stores take the money out of the community. Right? When there's no investment into community, poverty, you pull the sheets off, you get to see poverty. So it's easy to say, right? Dave just said we got to change the mindset. I agree 100% across the board. Crystal said financial literacy is so important that it should be taught in every household. I agree, so important, right? Our decision making, another area. I'm sure Heather will jump on that. But when we talk in financial literacy, like Crystal was talking about, right? It goes back to a community mindset, and it also goes back to what Tracy was saying about looking out for each other, right? Mm-hmm. Because if I go to right, because what we've been doing lately, right, is we get some food, we split it, mm-hmm. So we're not buying 2 meals. Mm-hmm. We're splitting the actual 1 meal.
But you changed the mindset.
The mindset.
You changed the way you think. They didn't build Black Wall Street because they had this debt mentality mindset.
Right.
They had a prosperity mindset. Their focus was to ensure that everybody could succeed. Right. Now, if the devil comes in to try, which he did, to tear it down, that's another story. But you can't pass the blame on the people that had the right mindset to build a community that was just as powerful as Wall Street in New York.
Right.
The mindset is everything. Begin.
It's everything. So, Crystal, the mindset is back in your court. I'm passing it to you like magic.
Yes, sir. So, when we talk about mindset, we do have to understand why our mindset is the way that it is, right?
Right.
You just didn't wake up one day thinking every dime that comes into my pocket, right, I have to spend. But also, you have to start with, that's why it's called get your house in order. Because we understand that everybody is not going to jump on the train, right? Everybody's not going to jump on the train immediately. So for those individuals that are jumping on the train, that are showing up for the workshops, that are tuning in to these type of things, when we start to educate them, it then starts to, and they start to see the changes, and the psychological shift happens that says, okay, I will never have anything less than a 700 credit score. I will never carry all of these credit card balances. I will never, ever do this thing again. I'll never be broke another day in my life. The psychological shift happens. And then that wave happens, and then each one starts to teach one, right? They're teaching their children, and now their children are having conversations with their friends. about it. We have to make it healthy to talk about finances and not taboo to talk about finances.
So how do we begin? How do we begin that healthy financial conversation? I know this is one way, but you give the families some direction. I'm listening. I'm all ears. I've learned quite a bit so far.
So it goes back to, again, understanding the simple basics, right? Again, 35% of your history is your credit score. 30% is the amount that you owe, the balances, the debt that you're actually carrying. 15% is that length of credit, right? How long have you had this credit history? 10% is the credit mix. What type of credit do you have? Mortgages, installment loans, credit cards, so revolving debt. And then the new credit. What kind of new credit are you getting? And then when you understand that, the next step is understanding truly, right, how credit works and how to use credit as a tool and as leverage as opposed to, again, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Right. So let's talk about credit cards.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So understanding that when credit cards even started, it was American Express and Diners Club, right? You get to spend as much money as you want. At the end of the month, you got to pay the whole entire balance off,
Right.
right? Well, then Master Charge came along, right? It later turned into MasterCard, but it was originally Master Charge, right? And that's why you'll hear some of the older individuals still say my charge card or still call it Master Charge, right?
Right.
So Master Charge came along and said, well, wait a minute, we'll let you carry a balance, but we're going to charge you interest on the balance that you carry,
Ooh.
right? And you only have this minimum payment that you have to make every month. And if you make it, we'll report that you got a good payment history, but it's such a small portion that you should be able to pay it, right? And so then you spend dollars at, the store, and then the bill comes next month and it's $100 balance, but your minimum payment is $27. Well, most people are going to say, I'm just going to pay this $27, right? So then Visa came along, and then the stores came along. Macy's, I don't care where you go, they all offer a credit card. And what happens when you go to check out? What does the cashier ask you?
Cash or
Every single time.
charge?
Well, then they say, no,
Cash or
do you have
credit?
cash or credit? But they ask you, do you have a Target credit card that you want to, and if you say no, they'll say, well, you sign up for one and get 10% off your purchase. So they've been trained because they know they're going to make more money off of this than that sweater that you bought. Right. So we got to understand the game. So I'm not a proponent of store credit cards unless it's, Home Depot, Walmart, Menards, something that you can use if your furnace goes out in the house and you got to go buy a furnace, right? You can't do that with a Victoria's Secret credit card, right? So I'm not
You
a
can make it
proponent.
hot though, baby.
Till it ain't a
Listen,
secret no more.
as soon as I said Victoria's Secret, I was like, I should have used Macy's or something, right? I knew I should have used somebody different. So, but then MasterCard and Visa, right? So we should never be using a debit card.
Never.
Never. Do you
That's
know
your
why?
cash.
It's your cash and you're not protected.
It's not
There's
protected.
no protection with that debit card, right? If you're using that credit card, if someone gets that number, all you have to do is file that claim with the credit card company, right? If someone takes thousands of dollars out of your bank account because they had your debit card information, you know how long it's going to take you to get that money back? If you
If you get it back.
Right.
yeah, you really and truly, we should be using credit cards with everything that we're spending for this month, we're on that credit card, and at the end of the month, paying that balance off in full.
And you saving money.
And you save money. So if I got my money in this savings account or this money market account for 30 days, I don't care if I made $2 or $20 on it. I made more money than if I just gave it to DTE today.
Right. Yeah, I just posted that piece on credit the other day on my page about that very
Exactly.
thing. Use that credit card.
Use that credit. But we have to use it responsibly. And for
Yes.
some, it's going to be okay, this weekend I spent $200 on credit card. That means I need to take my $200 in cash and put it in an account separately for that so that it's not mixing with my regular money. So I'm not spending it. And at the end of the month, I actually have the money available to pay off my credit card debt.
What kind of account do you call that?
It could be a regular savings account. It could be something, but it's somewhere else. It's not where your normal money is being held. Because then
Okay.
it winds up being too easy to tap into.
Yes, because it's so like you said. Okay, so I spent the 200 on the weekend, and then that bill came next week. It's 300 in the account. I know I spent 200. I'm gonna just give them
Right.
150. And now you
See what
got
I'm
that
saying?
interest. Yep, now you got that interest on your head.
See, because you got the
So,
wrong
You got
mindset.
the wrong mindset,
because you
Wrong
got
man.
to,
mindset.
and most people have the wrong mindset. One, because they've never been taught how to use their credit, right? And
Right.
so, and you're not gonna figure it out. And the system is set up to for you either to win or lose drastically, right? There really is no in between. So if you're not using your credit properly, you are and you're losing drastically. And credit really is impacting everything from, you know, if you get a house and you don't put down 20%, you have to pay primary mortgage insurance, right? The
Right.
lower your credit score, the more expensive your primary mortgage insurance is, right? If you're looking from homeowners insurance, they're pulling your credit. Auto insurance. There used to be a time when you went to AT&T, Verizon, and all of those to get a phone, and they didn't pull your credit. Guess what?
They
They pulling your
pulling it,
credit now.
and
When
it's
you
and
go
it's
get that job,
yeah.
they're pulling your credit for that employment as well. So it's crucial. Look, you walk into a car dealership, and if you get it from me today, people, please stop doing this. Get finance before you go look for a car. With whoever you bank with, your credit union, your bank, get your finances first, right? Because
Mm.
when you go to the dealer or that side lot and you say, I need financing,
Everybody be hustling, hustling.
they're gonna go and
Right.
they're gonna send your information
Mm-hmm.
to 10, 15 finance companies, which is horrible on your credit. The credit bureaus look at finance companies way different than they do a mortgage company, right?
Right.
So, and then they're not trying to figure out who's giving you the best interest rate. Who comes back first with the approval, and they're going to tell you that you're approved, and that interest rate could be, 17%.
Crystal, I have a question too.
Yes, ma'am.
How how can someone get out of the payday loan cycle or
Ooh.
check cashing payday loan cycle? Is there a first step for that? Because I know that has debilitated a lot of people in our community.
So the first step is they need to go talk to somebody that really and truly is a credit counselor, right? Because that answer is going to be different, right? Because you have to be able to look at where is my money coming from? How much do I have coming in? And the plan to get out of that payday debt. Because they may not have the money sitting somewhere, right? And there may wind up being, unfortunately, um, some other things that have to be late, right, in order to make up and get rid of that payday loan. So there's some decisions that have to be made, and that thing will, and it's going to be dependent upon that person's individual finances, how money comes in, what other bills that they have to pay, and more than likely they're going to need somebody to walk them through that process. It's possible, but
That was the next question because I mean it seems like a the infinity circle.
hmm
It really
it's
does.
bad.
You work, you have to pay it back, or they take it automatically out of your pay or
Check.
your account. Hmm.
Hmm So yeah, sometimes you're gonna have to just bite the bullet, and something else may be late. Okay, let me go and call DTE and make some payment arrangements over here. So instead of paying DTE this month, I have to get out of. Definitely need some assistance in helping them to do so.
That's important. That's
Yes.
very, very important. Them payday loans, getting them payday loans out the neighborhood is mandatory. And we got to fight for every damn thing, right?
Yeah.
And because they let anybody come in, and right, and we be talking that. Don't even get me started on that. We like to talk unity, but ooh, right. So this financial piece, this credit piece, then falls into. I just shared on my Facebook page. The young man has no DTI calculated owner occupied, no seated loan. Of course, must have equity and down payment, statement of income required, not a bank statement program, loans up to $3 million, right?
hmm
Right. And I guess they're out here, right? And he does everything around, same thing. Mortgage. I've been talking to him. He's very fired up, right, about helping his people. But again, we're so conditioned to believe that the other person or the other cultures have the answer from their success. We don't do a good job, in my opinion, of sharing the success to make sure that we all look good, right? Because that's a big component, right? It was the reason why I left a number of these groups and didn't participate, because I'm not, just like when we did BSN. BSN is about all of us. It's not about me. You know what I mean? It's about all of us. It's about everyone in that group moving together, growing together, right? As much as we still look at things individually. I see it all the time. I see it play out. I watch it, and that's fine. Shine on. Do your thing, right? But in there, you're going to have to answer to that integrity. You're going to have to answer to that loyalty. And we have to answer to each other. That's the accountability partners. That's the great thing about what we do with BSN. And I've been in a lot of rooms. They don't get out like that, right? Right? But we're looking out for each other. And it's the most beautiful thing, right? Same thing we get with the boys, right? Yesterday was a beautiful day of watching our boys, the ones step up, right? And do their thing and help each other, right? These are the servant leaderships. This is what we really need, the component we really need going across the board. Crystal,
Yes, sir.
Heather, before you go, I know you got to go. So is there something you'd like to add before you leave the stage?
Yes, thank you for allowing me to share just a moment. One of the strategies for shifting our mindset really has to do with new information and new habits. This is a formula. If you don't have one, I say this is one that I offer you to start this process of change. The first step to change is getting new information. So if there's something that Crystal is talking about that resonates with you, new information is going to resonate with you. It's going to make you say, I didn't think about that before. Or, wow, maybe I can do this. Maybe this will work for me, right? So your new information. But the second step with new information is that you have to appreciate that information. So if it has no value to you, then it's hard to start the next steps, which the next step is going to be applying that information. If you can't appreciate the position that you're in or the people who give you the new information, it's going to be hard for you to apply it. So you have to start to shift to say, wow, Crystal is the subject matter expert in this area. She's a good person to listen to. This is a good place to start. That's the level of appreciation that's needed. The value that you see in what somebody is sharing with you. Instead of thinking it's a coincidence, or instead of thinking it's not for you, if it's in your space at that time, meeting the need that you have at that time, then that information is for you. Well, and it resonates, then that information is for you too. So the next step after new information, appreciation, and application is now to transform by that information. So you've applied it, and so now you start to see things change. Once you start seeing things change, that's part of your transformation. And before and during this period of time, there is a time lapse. There is not the overnight effect. For a new habit, it takes 10 to 21 days to form a new habit. That means doing it consistently, 10 to 21 days. But in order for that new habit to become a lifestyle, you have to invest 63 days. That's 321 consecutive day period. So you're looking at close to 3 months and this new habit before it becomes a lifestyle. So if you only go 2 pay periods, right, which is about 2 weeks, about a month, you haven't put in enough time yet for it to become a lifestyle. So you may not see the results that you want to see right away. This is the same thing of why can I lose weight? This is the same thing in terms of our mindset, our process. Why can I stop smoking? Why can't I change? Because we quit before that 63-day process. We quit sometimes between that 10 and 21 day process. We say, I don't see any results. I don't see any results. So we
Amen.
quit. So then the last thing is the elevation. You elevate to the next level. We're trying to get to the next level. This is a complete cycle of a mindset shift.
Awesome. So tell everybody where they can get that appointment, come sign up. You know what I mean? Get that personal change. Go ahead, let me hear that.
So you can drop in at the website at yourinspiredjourney.com. That's one place. You can drop me an email at Heather, the number 2, Hetheru, at gmail.com. That's HETHERU, Hetheru, at gmail.com. Drop me an email. Go to the website. There's information where you can contact me there. If you don't remember that, Google me. Google Hetheru Miller. You can find me there. You can find my books. You can find my workshops. You can find my YouTube videos. You can find my articles. You can find my podcast. Look it up. Find me. Let's connect.
All right. We'll see you later.
That
Great
sounds
job.
like an exit, doesn't it?
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening.
Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Heather. Great information.
All right. So, Miss Crystal, where can we reach you at? Crystal gone. Oh, she froze. Brother Dave?
I wanted to say something that I think is important when we talk about the scriptures. So it made me go to these two here. The first thing is Ecclesiastes 7:12. It says, wisdom is a shelter as money is a shelter. But the advantage of knowledge is this. Wisdom preserves those who have it. Luke 14:28 tells us, suppose you want to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost you see if you have enough money to complete it? In essence, we need to have the knowledge and the wisdom from those who have the knowledge, as you said earlier, the subject matter expert, to help us to plan the exit plan that we want to have for success. If I see an end result, I want to build, the power center. Well, the empowerment center. So if we want to build that, we need someone who has who's a subject matter expert to give us the wisdom we need. Because by them having the knowledge, they're putting the time, the energy, and they become seasoned. They can be the expert to help us. But so often we lack that ability because we don't have ears to hear. And it's so important. I'm going to close on this. I have another acronym. It's called PACE. You have to prepare. You have to have the right attitude. You got to have the right commitment. You got to have the right expectation. And you got to execute, execute, execute.
Amen. Crystal.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. You're back.
Jesus.
I'm
Tell
back.
us where tell us where we can find you at and your last words.
5050accord.com. I'm sorry. Yes, 5050accord.com or the Facebook group 5050 Accord. Ask to join, answer the questions. We will let you in. There will be much more information about credit and finance coming along. You also can find me at theamazingwomannetwork.com. Last words for me. Couple of things you need to do. Everybody needs to go to annual credit report and get all three of their credit bureaus. You need to know what's on your credit, right? There's errors. The credit reporting bureaus report. They don't make sure that the information is correct. Mm-hmm. And then get some help. You have to. This isn't something you're going to learn overnight. It's not something that you're going to correct overnight. But every time you can get more information, plug in, tune in, get the information so that you can apply the information. You can correct the situation. You just need to connect with the experts to help you correct your financial situation.
Awesome. Thank you, Crystal. We really appreciate you. It's always funny how, when you go through history and we look back and we start going through the processes and we look at the process and we look at all the games and the manipulation and the lies and the people that control and do the things that they do. And then we look at the small areas. We look at the areas where we functionally damaged our communities by accepting and selling drugs, where had we not been individualized, we might have worked together and came up with even more solutions. Mm-hmm. But considering that we were divided into two economies, her economy and his economy, and today we have different statistics, black male statistics, we have black women statistics, we have black women rock, and we have all these things. Well, just to be clear, Amazing Woman and Good Fathers Only, we work together, right? We do things together. This is not a separate thing, and it hasn't been since we had started as friends, right? Your Inspired Journey, we work together. A lot of people like to say, hey, Cal, you only care about the men and this, that, and the other and the boys, and you don't know what you're talking about, because a lot of people like to defend their womanhood, or men like to defend women in this area because you don't know what you're talking about. You don't have to, all of that, right? And they go through that, because they didn't read a study and been trained and talked, right? Well, here's an area where we can really be trained in, mm-hmm. making sure that dollar goes to, right? And then the change from that dollar falls down to the children. We have got to do a better job of understanding what unity is. And unity is loving the person next to you no matter his fault. That is a Calvin Man quote. That is something you will see on a shirt one day soon, because I put everything God give me on a T-shirt. And the other part of that is for us to understand that it is ultimately in our hands with no excuses and no permission to cultivate what we want to see. I'm tired of looking back. I'm full of going forward. Y'all can look back, tag it, whatever you want to do. I ain't bringing it with me. I'm going forward in what I need to do, and I'm enjoying the process of this journey. And so I challenge you all to seek financial literacy and education, get into some stocks, some bonds. We'll be talking more on this subject. It was great to have everyone in the building today. We're going to keep this thing growing. And remember, right? My name is Calvin Mann. I'm the president and founder of Encourage Me, I'm Young. And this has been EMIY. Please put your family first. Thank you.